my brother died on a Tuesday. I remember that because Tuesday was the day he always called me on his way home from work. He'd complain about traffic, ask what Mom was making for dinner, then spend 10 minutes telling me some stupid story that wasn't even funny. That Tuesday, my phone never rang. Instead, I got a call from the police. They said there had been an accident. By the time I reached the hospital, Daniel was already gone. He was 32, too young, too healthy, and completely impossible to replace. The doctors told us it happened instantly. No suffering. I held on to that thought for months. It was the only thing that helped. We buried him 4 days later. His phone was found inside the car. Screen shattered. Battery dead. My mother couldn't bear to see it, so she gave it to me. I kept it in a drawer. I didn't turn it on. I didn't even charge it. For almost 6 months. Then, one night at 2:13 a.m., my phone rang. I was half asleep when I looked at the screen. The caller ID said, "Daniel?" I sat straight up in bed. For a few seconds, I couldn't move. Then I answered. "Hello?" Nothing. Just static. I checked the number. It was Daniel's old number, the same one I'd deleted after the funeral. Then I heard breathing, slow, uneven, like someone was struggling to speak. I whispered, "Daniel." The breathing stopped. A man's voice came through, very quietly. "Don't come home." The call ended. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I called the phone company. They checked the number, still registered to Daniel. But the phone itself hadn't connected to a network in almost 6 months. The technician told me there was no explanation. I tried calling it back. Not in service. I almost convinced myself it had been a technical error. Then, that evening, I received a voicemail from Daniel's phone. 11 seconds long, at first, silence. Then I heard Daniel breathing. I knew that breathing. I'd heard it hundreds of times. Then he whispered, "He's outside." A pause. "Don't open the door." Then something hit the microphone. The recording ended. I immediately checked my front door. Locked, the porch was empty. I checked the windows. Nothing. But when I looked at the security camera, there was someone standing across the street. A man, motionless, facing my house. I zoomed in, too blurry to see his face. Then the figure slowly raised one hand and pointed toward my bedroom window. I ran upstairs. Nobody there. When I checked the camera again, the street was empty. The calls continued, always at night, always from Daniel's number, sometimes only static, sometimes breathing. Once I heard him crying. That was the one that broke me. "Daniel?" He didn't answer. I could hear something moving in the background, a door creaking. Then his voice whispered, "I can't keep calling you." "Why?" Silence. Then, "Because he knows where you live." The call ended. I started researching the accident. I don't know why I'd never done it before. Daniel had been driving home. His car crossed the center line, hit a concrete barrier. No other vehicle involved. But when I got the police report, something didn't make sense. There were fingerprints on the inside of the rear passenger window. Daniel had been driving alone. The report said the prints were too damaged to identify. Then I noticed something even stranger. The final call from Daniel's phone had been placed 8 minutes after the crash. His phone should have been destroyed. and Daniel was already dead. I went to the impound yard. The wrecked car was still there, the rear window shattered. The passenger seat, covered in broken glass, but underneath the seat, I found something, a small recording device, an old digital voice recorder. I took it home. One file. Recorded the night Daniel died. I pressed play. At first, traffic. Then Daniel's voice. He sounded nervous. Someone's been following me. A few seconds passed. I've seen the same car 3 times. The recording became distorted. Then Daniel whispered, "If something happens to me, don't trust the police." I stopped the recording. My hands were shaking. There was more. I pressed play again. He's not following me anymore. A long silence. He's in the car. Then the recording ended. I just stared at the device. There had been someone in the back seat. Someone Daniel never saw. That night, Daniel called again. I answered immediately. "Where are you?" "Nothing, Daniel. Please." A faint sound came through. 3 knocks. Then his voice. "Basement." I looked toward the stairs. "What?" "He's in your basement." The call ended. I grabbed a flashlight. I don't know why I went downstairs. The basement was dark. Empty. I checked every corner. Nothing. Then I noticed the old storage cabinet. Door slightly open. Inside was a box I'd never seen before. I pulled it out. Photographs, dozens of them. Pictures of me. Leaving work, getting groceries, walking my dog, sleeping in my bedroom. Some were taken months before Daniel died. Some were taken after. My hands went numb. The newest photograph showed me standing in the basement, holding the box. The picture had been taken less than a minute earlier. I dropped it. Then my phone rang. "Daniel," I answered. This time, I didn't speak. Neither did he. For several seconds, only breathing. Then I heard something in the background. A door opening. And Daniel whispered, "He's behind you." I turned. Nothing. Then the basement light switched off. My phone screen went black. For a moment, the entire basement disappeared. Then something breathed directly beside my ear. I ran upstairs, locked myself in the bathroom, called the police. They arrived 15 minutes later, searched the entire house. Nothing, no person, no cameras, no footprints. The box was gone. So were the photographs. The only thing left was my brother's old phone, sitting on the kitchen table. I had never brought it there. Screen cracked, battery at 1%, and one new voicemail. I played it. Daniel was crying. His voice sounded terrified. "Listen to me. I'm not calling you from the past." A pause. "I'm calling you from the place they took me." My heart stopped. Then he whispered, "And whatever you do, don't answer when I call tomorrow." The recording ended. The next morning, my phone rang at exactly 2:13 a.m. Daniel's name appeared on the screen. I remembered his warning. I didn't answer. The phone stopped. Then rang again. I ignored it. A third time, I turned the phone face down. Then someone knocked on my front door. 3 slow knocks. I looked through the peephole. Nobody. My phone rang again. This time, the caller ID wasn't Daniel. It was my own number. I didn't answer. The knocking came again, but now it wasn't coming from the front door. It was coming from inside my house. 3 knocks from the basement door. I stood there, frozen. Then my brother's voice came from behind it. very softly, "Please, open the door." I started crying because I knew that voice. It was Daniel, but underneath his voice, something else was whispering. Something that sounded exactly like me. And then I realized the truth. Daniel hadn't been trying to get back into my life. He'd been trying to warn me, because whatever killed him hadn't killed him in that car. It had followed him home. And for 6 months, it had been learning how to sound like my brother. My phone rang one final time. I looked at the screen. The caller ID said, "Mom." I answered. There was silence. Then my mother's voice whispered, "Don't open the basement." I started crying. "Mom," she interrupted me, "because I'm standing outside your house." My blood went cold. I slowly looked toward the front window. My mother was standing outside, staring directly at me. She raised one hand and smiled. Then the voice on the phone whispered, "That's not your mother." Behind me, the basement door slowly opened,